What's up, guys? I'm Blade Walker. Just want to share a little bit about my story. 2003, which I got a long story before that, but 2003, I was given a 10% chance to live at Vanderbilt Hospital. I had a car accident, and they gave me a 10% chance to live. It messed me up pretty good. And by the grace of God, I pulled through that because when I hit a tree head on, and I don't remember any of it. I think I either fell asleep or was reaching down for something. That hit no brakes. Wasn't no squeal marks, nothing. And the impact blew two holes out in my heart, and I had a bleed on the brain. I broke ribs, um, stuck that bone of that finger right there, shattered my hip socket, tore my aorta, which the first miracle was that it clotted itself. Which a lot of you know, if you tear your aorta, you bleed out right then, 99% of the time. And again, for some reason I was spared, and I was in the hospital for 5 or 6 months, and went home and had to live flat on my back in a hospital bed for about a year. A couple times I had to go back in the hospital. One time my lungs had filled up with blood clots, so they had to go back in there and get them out, go in. And when they did that, first they sent me home with the holes in my heart and thought that it would repair itself. But whenever I ran a fever and my heart rate got to 180 some beats a minute, we called the hospital at Vanderbilt, and they said, get me to the nearest hospital. I told Mom no. I said, get me the 2-hour trip to Vanderbilt because they're good and they know what they're doing. And if I can't make it, we'll stop a long way. Well, we took off, and I was sitting in the waiting room, and time clicking, I didn't know it. But then it just so happened the one that done my hip surgery, she didn't think I would make it because through the surgery, because where my heart had the two holes in it, didn't think it'd be strong enough to keep me in sedation long enough to do the hip before it turned gangrene. And let me get this off a minute. And that was in 2003. Anyway, I went home, and after I was in there for a couple months that time, and then I noticed my hip was hurting a whole lot worse than usual. Well, it set up with infection and busted the incision back open, and it was literally shooting infection about 12 feet from where I was at. It was so full, and I drained 3 beach towels or soaked them before I got to the hospital. So I had a lot of infection. But then I get all that took care of. I was in there for about a month that time with the draining tubes in my stomach, and when we were in the wreck, my lungs collapsed, and that was where I was going to get at. Sorry. My dad worked with a guy, and it so happened his son worked at the same place I did, or something, but he was the first one on the scene of my accident. And I reckon he come to help me, and I punched him. I was combative. I didn't know what I was doing. And so he said he would step back, and he said I did it again. So he decided to wait for the first responders. I have reached out to this gentleman and apologized for it. But like I said, I didn't know it. Hang on a minute. But then, so I went home, and so I learned how to walk again and all that stuff. And so I finally healed over that, kinda, where they cut through the muscle in my butt cheek. I was supposed to wear a foam wedge. It was about that wide, well, that wide in between my legs to keep them spread so the muscle didn't shift to my side. Unfortunately, I didn't wear it at night, during the day because I thought I could keep them apart myself, which didn't work out. Muscle shifted to my side, so now I got a limp, but I still could walk. That's all that mattered to me. And then 2019, and I was 17 is when I started getting sick. Couldn't understand really why I was taking on weight so fast. And what it was I was holding fluid because my kidneys and liver was acting up. So I go to the doctor, and this drags out for a while. You know, they'll send you to this doctor, then they'll send you to this doctor. All a money racket. It's really ridiculous how greedy. Anyway, and where's that now? Oh, and so they kept telling me I had fatty liver, which I didn't know what that meant then. And I drank, which I had a drug problem, and I quit in 2005. I was addicted to pain medication and anything else that's speed or anyway. I really don't want to put this out there so everybody knows, but if it'll help one person, it's worth it to me. You know, I want to be here for people that has that problem because I've dealt with it. I know exactly what you're going through. You know, I've slept out of my car. I've worked for a long time just because I got kicked out of a halfway house and didn't want to go back to where I lived. I lost my son. I lost my wife. Won't really get into that, but I'm just trying to let y'all know a little bit about me. I don't want to, without telling you exactly where I live and stuff, but most of my viewers are cool, you know, so it's not a real big deal to me. But there are some that watch that don't know. And I basically putting this out there just so people know that, you know, there is hope. In 2020, I was told I had 2 weeks to live. Or I wasn't. They told my mom that because I was pretty much out of it. I would wake up every now and then. My money level got so high that I would just lose total mobility. I mean, I would just fall straight, bust my nose. Uh, they woke up many times and found me on the floors, and I didn't know what happened. I mean, I know it at the time, but anything after that, I don't. I went to kidney dialysis. I had to get on dialysis, and I would go to dialysis, but I would wake up in the hospital. Well, I would panic because I didn't know where I was at and pull the tubes out in my nose and crazy stuff. But I was very combative. I brought 3 sets of straps where they had tried to strap me down to the table. Um, I was determined one way or another I was getting loose. But I do remember hitting a few doctors, or a couple doctors, I think, and a few nurses, which I apologized. You know, when your ammonia level is so high, you really don't know what you're doing. You know, I was having weird dreams, and But anyway, when I got so sick, had to go to Hazard Hospital eventually. This was after a year of wrapping my legs and walking around with. I went from 220 pounds to 413 pounds in a matter of 6 months, and my met count on my liver was at 38, which your liver is graded from 1 to 40, and mine was just about. I was functioning on 3% liver and 3% kidneys. Actually, both of them, I lost both my kidneys. They both went bad. Uh, I finally did get a transplant, but before that, they gave me 2 weeks to live in Hazard, and I made it a year from then just to get on the waiting list because I had drank. And so I had to go a year without drinking and all that stuff. So people watching, there's hope. There's only one true doctor, and we know who that is. If you don't believe, it's fine. I'm not here to judge anybody, but I just want to share a little bit. And let's see where was that now. No, and I made it a year from then. Got on the waiting list. I had a catheter first for dialysis, and then I got a paracentesis. Or no, then I got, I don't remember now. It goes in your arm. Then I finally went to paracentesis, which is where you can do it at home. And 3 days after I got on the list, and 3 days, okay, I got the paracentesis, and 3 days after that, which I was on the list for 4 total days, because I had a rare blood type that worked for me or against me. I was first in line if it was my blood type. If not, I was second. So that could have been the difference between life and death. But let me think here. Anyway, I got the paracentesis, and then after 4 days, they called me and said, "Can you be here within a few hours?" And I live 3 hours from there. So I was like, "Yeah." I already had a bag ready for in case that happened, and grabbed my bag, and we took off. So I get up there, I get the transplants, grueling, grueling recovery. Like, I had no idea it was going to be so hard. I had so many problems after that. I got to where I couldn't talk, literally couldn't talk. I knew what I wanted to say, but my words wouldn't come out. And I couldn't quit jerking. Like, I couldn't eat or drink or nothing on my own. It was pretty crazy, and kind of find out they was giving me too much rejection medicine. Which, if you have a kidney or a liver transplant, you have to take rejection medicines for the rest of your life. And so I had to go back to the hospital. Since I had transplants, I've been in there probably 10 times. But it tried to reject it, my kidney, 3 times, and just like I said, it was grueling. It's but I ended up they drained it. Into first in 2019, they drained 155 pounds of water off of me, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. That's just extra water. And I got back down to 230 something or 40 something. And I've never been big my entire life up until I got sick. Like, 220 was my max. And I'm 6 foot, a little over 6 foot. But anyway, uh, you think? Oh, I got back down there, And then that's when I made it the year, and then that's where I'm at now. But guys, just know there's hope. You never know somebody's story. I'm only telling this because I want you guys, if it's something that can help you, I want to help you. I'll talk to you. Anything I can do to help. I've dealt with a lot through my life. I've had just. I won't get into that, but I'm just telling you why I'm in the shape I'm in. People may think I'm lying, but I just want to clarify. It'd be hard to make this all up at once without looking down and reading something with it not. You know, it's it's the way it is. And I'm only doing this to try to help somebody. But anyway, so I get my liver and kidney transplant, and I had all the trouble. I come home, and I've had severe neuropathy for a few years, where it's crippling. Like it hurts so bad, stuff on my feet. But I can usually do it for 20 to 30 minutes. And at 47-year-old, it's kind of what do you call it, eye opening maybe. Anyway, and I've had a lot of trouble since then. I won't get into everything, but now I had two. One knot was the size of a dime, and the other one was maybe the size of a M&M. Two knots come up on the back of my tongue where it was obstructing my airway. So they took it off and biopsied it, and kind of find out it's cancer. So guys, no matter what life throws at you, it's all about how we adapt to them. I like to be a, a cut up, high energy kind of guy where people really enjoy the videos because they're funny, and but I have trouble doing that because of the sickness I deal with. That being said, I love doing it because you guys, the viewers, are so awesome to talk to. The comments I get, it's uplifting. It's great. You know, I was searching for some form of kindness, or not really kindness, but I didn't think there were still humans that had compassion, or mankind still exists that's genuine. I know some of a lot of your older gentlemen have the respect built in them because we've been taught that. I don't consider myself old, but I was brought up by a man that, one, believed in God, two, believed in work, and three, believed in family. And I had to throw in friendships. My dad, he'll treat anybody genuine, same as my mom. Had a good childhood. I didn't know he was poor because, we just all ran around and played in the summertime. We didn't have phones and computers, and it was great. Like, kids don't realize what you're missing out on by watching these phones all the time. Guys, get out and live life because all it takes is one trip to the doctor. One trip, and your life can flip upside down. I say that with definite meaning because it's real. Struggle's real. But it's all about surrounding yourself with good people and staying genuine. Guys, respect others. Excuse me. Respect others because you never know when you might need to lean on them. And then you might wait too late before you can't. But anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. I love you guys. And until next time, you know the drill. Peace.